right, let's dive in. We're tackling the 4-hour work week today, and I know you're all about those alternative lifestyles, breaking free from that 9-to-5 grind. Well, this book by Tim Ferriss is packed with some, well, unconventional wisdom, you might say, right up your alley.
It's interesting, how Ferriss redefines wealth. It's not just about, stacks of money, right? It's about freedom, experiences, designing a life you actually want instead of letting work run the show.
So it's a whole different mindset then, not just about, becoming a millionaire. It's about work life, but different.
Exactly. He calls it the new rich, and it's not about how much money, but what your money buys you, that freedom. Remember Dale Begg-Smith, Olympic gold medalist, but also running a whole IT company. Proves you don't got to pick just one passion. You can have it all, in a way.
That definitely challenges the, work till you're 65 and enjoy life thing. Is that where the mini retirements come in?
Bingo. Ferriss says, why wait decades to be free? Imagine, taking a year off to sail around the world like that family he mentions. It's about hitting pause, exploring, figuring out what matters. Combat that burnout, find your passions again.
And he gives us the DEAL acronym, right, as the steps.
Yeah, it's B for definition, E for elimination, A for automation, and then L for liberation. It's like the escape route from that rat race.
The roadmap, okay. So that's how to get there. But he also talks about the mental blocks, right? That stop people from even trying.
Oh, for sure. Fear is a big one. Fear of the unknown. Fear of, what people think. Like that story about Hans, the lawyer, ditched the whole thing to start a surf company in, was it Brazil? Terrified at first, but ended up living his dream. Sometimes fear is just hiding opportunity,
Makes sense. Got to get out of the comfort zone to do something amazing.
Yep.
Is that what the comfort challenges are about? The one where he tells people to, lie down in public?
Yeah. It's about facing that fear head on, realizing other people's judgments, they don't have to control you. Builds confidence.
Okay, so we've defined this new rich thing and got to face our fears. But how do you actually make more time, be more free in your life?
That's where the E comes in, elimination. Cutting out all the junk that wastes your time and energy, the stuff that keeps you from what truly matters. And a key thing he brings up is Pareto's law. The 80-20 principle.
Remind me, what's that one again?
Basically, 80% of your results come from just 20% of your effort. So the trick is find that crucial 20% and ditch the rest. Ferriss did this with his own business, found that, get this, 5 customers out of 120 were making him 95% of his money.
No way.
Yeah. So he was wasting time on all those other clients who weren't really contributing, cut him loose, freed up a ton of time.
Huge lesson there. Focus on what matters. He also talks about a low information diet. What's that about? Is this cutting out sugar or something?
Not quite, haha. He's talking about information overload, newspapers, all that stuff. He thinks a lot of it's just noise.
So I should focus on information that's useful to me right now, not just be bombarded by everything.
Exactly. It's about being intentional with your attention. Ask yourself, will I use this for something important right now? If not, ignore it. He even has tips for reading faster. Using a pen to guide your eyes, focusing on certain words.
That's wild. So we've got the new rich, the fear-facing, and cutting the distractions. What's next on this roadmap?
Now we're getting to the A, automation, and this is where things get really interesting. So Ferriss, he's all about outsourcing, big time. Not just in the U.S., but globally, too. He actually had virtual assistants, I think, in India doing all sorts of stuff.
I remember that. Scheduling, research, even personal stuff, right? Apologizing to his wife.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy what you can delegate these days. Right?
Next level delegation, for sure.
But it shows the potential, tapping into talent anywhere, freeing you up for the important things. Think outside the box, like managing your email, booking trips, anything that's bogging you down.
I get that, especially for people who are just drowning in tasks. But what about security, Sharing sensitive information, all that.
He talks about that too, choosing companies with good security, stuff like that. But he's honest, even with precautions, things can happen. So gotta have a plan if it does.
Damage control. Weighing the risks and benefits, I guess. Being smart about it, but accepting some risk is part of the deal.
Right. So we've ditched the distractions, automated stuff. But how do we actually make money without being stuck at a job? That's where the muses come in.
Ah, yes, muses. Sounds kind of mystical.
Uh-huh.
So these are businesses that just make money without you needing to be there all the time.
Yeah, like a cash flow machine on autopilot. And he's got some key points for a good muse. First, niche market. Got to be specific. He actually learned this the hard way with his first product, Brain Quicken. Targeted, all students. It was too broad.
Too broad.
Then he narrowed it down, martial artists, powerlifters, that's when it took off.
Find your tribe and really serve them.
Exactly. Second thing, good profit margin. He suggests products that are like $50 to $200 per sale. Less customer service headaches, more profit. Remember Doug from the book?
Yeah, vaguely.
He made bank selling sound effects online.
Sound effects seem so niche. Haha.
It is, but that's the point. Low production time. Your muse should be something you can, create or source quickly. Don't get stuck with tons of inventory.
Okay, so niche, profitable, and easy to make. What else?
Last big thing, gotta be able to explain it simply, like in an online FAQ. Customers should find answers without needing to call you. Ferriss learned this the hard way, too. His first product was way too complicated.
Keep it simple so people can DIY. Makes sense. But how do you even come up with a muse idea in the first place? That's where I'd get stuck.
He says, think about what you're into. What problems have you faced that, other people probably have, too? Trade shows, magazines, just get those ideas flowing.
Look for the gaps where you can provide a solution, like be a problem solver, but for profit.
Right. And once you have an idea, got to test it out before going all in. Ferriss loves tools like Google AdWords, running little ads to see if people are interested. Remember Sherwood?
Oh, yeah, with the
French sailor shirts. He used AdWords, simple website, but nobody was buying it at his price. So he gets creative, offers a lose-win guarantee, double your money back if you don't love it.
Bold move.
And it worked. Sales went through the roof. Sometimes it's about that little tweak, experimenting. So muse is tested, money's coming in, time to escape the 9 to 5. That's the L, liberation.
This is the part I've been waiting for. But seriously, how do you convince your boss, especially if they're old school, everyone in the office kind of boss?
Ferriss has some sneaky good tactics for this. It's about being gradual, Start with working from home, 1 or 2 days a week. Baby steps. Remember Dave, the HP guy? He got to work remotely after, testing the waters while traveling in China.
Ah, I see. Proof of concept.
Yeah. Yep. And the key is be more productive when you're remote. Show them it works, track your results, have the data to back it up.
Not just, I want to work from home because I feel like it, but this benefits you, boss.
Exactly. Address their concerns. More productivity, lower costs for the company, frame it right. And Ferriss has this thing called the hourglass approach.
Hourglass. Now I'm curious.
So you take a longer break up front, planned project, family thing, whatever. It's like a trial run for remote work, but longer. Proves you can be trusted.
Fake it till you make it, kind of.
Yeah. Then once you've shown you can handle it, it's easier to negotiate for a shorter agreement. Then gradually you get more freedom.
I like it. Sneaky. But what if the job's just, hopeless? Boss is never going to budge no matter what.
Ferriss gets that, too. Sometimes got to cut your losses. He talks about opportunity cost, What are you losing by staying somewhere that makes you miserable?
He has those tough questions, right? What if you got fired today? What would you do?
Makes you think. And what are you putting off out of fear? That one's big. What seems impossible might not be so bad when you break it down.
He even talks about resume gaps, saying sometimes doing something interesting like traveling makes you a better candidate.
Stand out from the crowd. Shows you're not afraid to go for it,
Yeah.
In a world of cookie-cutter resumes, being different is a good thing.
Okay, so we've escaped the 9 to 5, living the dream. But then what? Isn't there a risk of getting bored, feeling lost? Ferriss talks about this too.
Yeah, he's real about it. Shares his own experience with that, post-achievement slump. Gotta find new challenges, purpose outside of work. Mini retirements aren't just escaping, they're for exploring, learning.
Filling that void with, good stuff.
Exactly. He talks about learning languages, keeps your mind sharp, understand other cultures better, and service to others. That can be huge.
Volunteering, mentoring, supporting causes, all that.
Makes a difference. And the cool thing is, he even breaks down the money side of mini retirements. Sometimes it's actually cheaper to travel than live in a big city.
Mind blown. So you don't got to be rich to live an awesome life.
Nope. It's about, experiencing the world differently. Not just tourist traps, but really immersing yourself, living like a local.
He gives so many tips, right? Affordable places to stay, using those travel points, packing light. The less stuff you have, the freer you are.
He's got it all laid out. Packing list, how to move to a new city, step by step. He gives you the tools, the inspiration. It's up to you to take the leap.
He really breaks it down, huh?
Yeah.
Makes it seem doable, even though it's changing your whole life.
That's the thing, right? Practical advice, but also that mindset shift. You need both, the how-to and the, belief that you can.
He doesn't sugarcoat it either. That chapter, the top 13 new rich mistakes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Like making things urgent when they're not, just because you suddenly have all this free time. Easy to fall back into old habits, being busy just to be busy.
It's true. Got to be mindful about how you fill that space.
For sure. And another mistake, thinking one thing like a product or a job is going to be your everything. Life's more of a journey, right?
Always something new to learn, some challenge to tackle.
Exactly. And this might sound basic, but he talks about your connections, the people around you. Got to be positive, supportive.
Yeah, people who lift you up, challenge you in a good way. That's part of it too.
Definitely. Real wealth, it's not just about money, but those relationships, sharing experiences. So what's the takeaway for you? This book, it's not just information, it's a challenge.
Like, question everything, figure out what you want, then actually go do it.
You've got more control than you think, Don't got to be a slave to a job or what people expect. Design your own life, the one that fits your values, makes you happy.
What really struck me was you don't have to wait till retirement to live that dream. Start building it now, bit by bit.
So what's one thing you can do today based on all this? Maybe ditch a time-wasting thing. Think up a muse idea, even if it's just a seed.
We'll leave you with this. What if you could work just 4 hours a week? What would you do with all that extra time?